Hello, how y'all doing today? Today is the day that I'm going to go over the rules of SSUSA, the basics. I'm not going into the heavy, what if this, that. If you've been playing the game long enough and you're old enough to play seniors, then you pretty much have the basic concept of the rules. But what I'm going to go over today is the starting point. Let's see if I can move that up a little bit. Yeah, that's a little bit better. The starting point of what you need to know when you come to play the senior circuit, the 40 and over, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, to the most point. This is more for the guys coming into the game. We played a 40 and over majors tournament here in Texas not too long ago called Winter Worlds. We had some teams that was their first time in the tournaments and they were lost. Just the subtle rules changes confused them. They had to get used to some things, forgot some things while they were running the bases and stuff like that. So I'm going to touch on some of those basic rules. Today was a light workout day, so I could do this, and technically I'm playing ball this weekend anyway, so I didn't want to get too in the depth in this. But we'll get started. These are all out of the SSUSA rule book. We don't have anything from the USSSA rule book because they really don't have a seniors rule book out there yet. From what I understand, they're getting a committee together. They're really starting to push the senior circuit this year, so they're trying to get the rules balanced out, see what they need to see where they need to get started, and adjust some rules and get it, more balanced out. But SSA USA 2019 rules, basic what you need to know to at least get started in a tournament. I'm going to start with the basic one, the one that most people really get irate about. Oh, they didn't call that all year. Now they're calling it. Section 1, Rule 1.5. It's the batter box. Guys, the rule's in there. It's 3 foot 7 inches. At least some portion of your foot has to be either in or on the line. I know, hey, the lines don't exist. The umpires know where it's at. They've been doing this long enough. If you're out of that box, especially in SSUSA World Tournaments, they will call it. And I believe they called one last year that ended a ball game for the championship, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure, but if I'm not mistaken, that's the video I saw. It caused a huge, well, it didn't end the game, but going into the open inning, caused a huge deal, a huge argument. Some of the guys that were recording it were arguing about it, saying it shouldn't have been called in that situation. But if you're calling it all day, you need to call it there. Personally, I think the batter's box rule should be there, especially with us using senior bats, especially the younger seniors, the 40s, some of the 50s. Man, some of these guys can still crush the ball. I can put some heat on one too, and if I'm 2 feet in front of that box, that's just less that reaction time for the pitcher. Third baseman, first baseman, any infielder. If you've played with the senior bats, you know what I'm talking about. So personally, I think the rule ought to be called all the time. USSSA up here at the Lone Star Series, they don't call it ever. Not in regular ball or seniors. They don't believe the box exists, from what I've been told, and that's what I was told when I umpired it one time. Don't ever call it out of the box. I never went back, and it's good money because they pay cash. Second rule is chopping the ball. It's section 1.13. Chopping the ball. A chop ball occurs when the batter strikes downward with a chopping motion causing the ball to bounce up in the air. They will call it. They'll call if they see the bat going in a downward motion, not cutting the ball, but in a chopping downward motion. They will call it on you. Basic rule, everybody knows it, but it's in seniors. I know some of these are kind of, we know this, we know that. The more interesting ones get further down. They're pretty good ones. Section 1.15, the commitment line. Now this is different. Once you move into seniors, there is a commitment line. The minimum 6 foot, 1.83 meters. Commitment line shall be marked across the perpendicular to the foul line and placed 30 feet from home plate. Guys, this is important because once a runner crosses that commitment line, he can't go back. He has to go home. If he turns around and crosses that commitment line going back to third, he is out. So you have, as the rules put it, once a runner crosses the commitment line, he has A, cannot return to third, B, must continue home, C, can no longer be tagged out by the defensive player. The defensive player must touch the mat. The ball remains live. That's important, guys. What they don't have right back to back here, and I'll go find it, is the scoring line. The scoring line, which I do have on here, it's in a different section. I'll go ahead and cover it if I can get to it. The scoring line is very important on this aspect, because the scoring line starts at the back of the batter's box, back of home plate, and continues out towards the fence. I don't see it on here. Maybe I didn't put it on here. Pro bat, strike zone mat, commitment line, chop ball. Oh, maybe I didn't get it on here. The scoring line is where you have to run past. I kind of got it here. You have to run past it to score. Section 8, 8.10, the scoring line. Crossing or touching the strike mat or batter's box, the runner shall be called out if he touches or crosses over any portion of the mat or the batter's box. The ball remains live. Guys, the scoring line starts at the back point of the batter's box, even with the plate. Continues across. Now, I say that, you got to understand how it sets up. You'll see the line in games. It's very visible. But you cannot, by SSUSA rules, you cannot touch that batter's box. If you do, you're called out. SSUSA will call this. U-trip, we had some guys run through the batter's box. They didn't call it out. There's not a clear rule to that yet. You got to remember, U-trip is new to seniors. This is the first year they're really going to put an emphasis on getting the program out there. We got a text the other day. The team is playing in a D tournament. I think 9 of us from Franks that live up here in the Dallas area that are all legal to play in CD tournaments. We're playing this weekend, and we've got a text going back and forth, and one of the guys that had a team last year got this information from Hutch, which runs Lone Star Softball, stating that they're going to put an emphasis, what would you like to see implemented? So that tells me that they're starting to take it serious. I've been talking to a couple of the guys. I'm nobody, but I've been trying to get an emphasis on the senior circuit because it's ready to go. Down here, I mean, it's starting to pick up. I've been talking to a couple of them, trying to get them to get their foot in the door and get this thing running. And I got a text the other day saying that they were putting some people in place to get it going and should have an announcement soon. So hopefully it takes off. They get it all worked out. But let's get back to the rules. But that's the commitment line and the scoring line, guys. That is the biggest mistakes you see made in senior softball with the new players, is going to touch home plate. It is, in our aspects, because we've been playing it a while, it's funny. It gives us a free out. We had 2 back-to-back. I mean, in one play. Runner scored, both of them touched home plate. They were out. Second game of the tournament, second senior game, they forgot while they was running the bases. We were in our dugout cracking up. Their guys were in their dugout cracking up because everybody knows, and they felt dumb. But it's important. You cannot, once you cross the commitment line, you've got to go home, and you cannot touch the batter's box or the plate. Now, the other one that's important is the pitcher. I don't have the rule written down, but in SSUSA, it is an arc of 6 to 12. U-trip was making it a 6 to 10 from the ground, not the point of release. U-trip is 3 to 10 from the point of release. Senior ball is 6 to 10 from the ground. So there's a little difference there. But here's the big difference. Section 1.62, the strike zone mat. A strike zone mat will be used. It's a rectangular mat with a 19-inch, 48.26 centimeter wide, 34.5-inch, 87.63 centimeter wide in length. The mat shall be made of rubber or other suitable material. The mat is placed over home plate and aligned with the front edge of home plate. What they don't tell you in this rule is, it's further down in the pitching rule, which I didn't write down because I didn't cover it. You hit your arc and it hits that mat, it's a strike. It doesn't matter where it crosses the batter. It doesn't matter if it just barely touches the front part of that mat, the very edge of the mat, the very back of the mat. It's a strike, guys. A lot of strikeouts because you think the ball's going to drop front of home plate and it actually catches the front of that plate. It's an out. There are mats out there. Oops. Sorry, guys. Forgot to turn my workout out. There are mats out there that are made to go around home plate, and home plate is part of the mat. So when you have those, the plate is the strike zone. So if it hits that plate, any aspect, the black rubber part of the plate, anything, it's a strike. That's a big change when it comes to playing senior ball. Some of these guys have a hard time adjusting, especially the pitchers. They're used to throwing that pitch that hits somewhere in the back, but it crosses the strike zone, it's a strike. Well, now you got to hit the rubber. Makes it a little bit different. With that said, section 3.4, number 3, the approved balls. Approved bats. All bats manufactured prior to 2014 marked 1.21 BPF or less, SSUSA approved bats, or having the ASA 2000 or 2004 stamp are approved for use. Any bat displaying the label exceeds 1.21 BPF is not approved. The rating must be clearly visible on the bat and clearly and permanently stamped either USSSA USA logo. Now here's where it gets a little sticky, guys. My opinion, no reason to cut a senior bat. These bats are stupid hot. But you still have people out there, especially the younger guys, have been doing it all their lives, will pop that end off and shave it. If you are suspected of having a USSSA, an altered bat, you do not want that in USSSA if you're caught with one. Here's the ruling. SSUSA, they want to make this very clear. It's in the rule book. SSUSA does not have the right to confiscate property of a player, just like USSSA, ISA, any of them, but does have the right to make rules related to penalties to be implemented upon anyone who declines to voluntarily surrender a suspected or altered bat or an illegal bat. Here's the rule I'd like to see UTRIP get involved in. Regular ball and seniors. If you do not surrender your bat voluntarily to the tournament officials, you will be suspended for 10 years. People, that's a long time, especially when you're playing seniors. To be suspended for 10 years because you refuse to give up your bat. The manager of that team is also suspended for 1 year. And the team will forfeit all games played in the tournament. So basically, one player can cost you the tournament, and it can cost your manager a year in the game. Guys, SSUSA ain't playing around with this stuff. This is the 2019-2020 rulebook. I don't remember what it said about this last year, but this right here, this is serious. You get busted, you're done. Now, here's the other catch to it. If you surrender your bat voluntarily and are caught with an altered or an illegal bat, altered bat, you get a 5-year suspension. And your manager still gets a 1-year suspension. So they're still strict. They're still saying, hey, you cheated, we caught you, you're done for 5 years. Even though you voluntarily gave us your stuff, you're done for 5 years. If you're caught with an illegal bat, you are ejected from that game. If you come back with it again, you're ejected from the tournament. I don't quite remember what the rules said. What can happen from there? Now, if you're caught a second time with a altered bat after your 10-year suspension and you come back and say, like, I do it here, I'm 46, I come back in 56, do it again, it's a lifetime. I'm done. SSUSA is over for me. What I'd like to see is all the other organizations get on board with that. If I'm suspending SSUSA for using an altered bat, you ought to be suspended in every other organization. They ought to band together. Hey, we caught this guy right here with an altered bat. Here's his name, birth date, picture. He's done. Okay, he's done in our league, and our league. Now you aren't playing anywhere because you wanted to cheat. So, there you go. SSUSA, that's the first and the most serious rule I've ever seen on this that takes the game seriously. Or the safety of the game. Alright, now that we're done all the good stuff. Alright. The yellow balls, section 3, 3.5 in the rule book. Softballs must be yellow optic, 12-inch, 44 core, 375 PSI for men's play. The women's play is 11-inch, old school softball, guys. We remember these. 47 core, 525 compression. Those balls flat out fly. Almost like stadium balls nowadays. And guys, the 44 375s, they do really good. There are some that allow the lower core higher compression. GSA, USA, we play with two different type of balls. I don't remember what the other core is. It's like 35 core, 400 compression, or 40 core, 400 compression, something like that. Roster restrictions. Section 4, 4.2. I'm trying to go through these pretty quick so we don't have a 30-minute video. Plus, I got to go back to work in 14 minutes. Roster restrictions. Teams that play with 10 guys can have a 20-man roster. Teams that play with 11 can have a 22-man roster. The difference in the amount of people that can play on the field is your age bracket. The higher up you go, they give you that extra player. Now, when we get into some other stuff, which I don't think I wrote on here, I'll probably have to be for another video. When you start having players, teams play up, play down. Like, if we play a 55 and over team and a 40 and over team, they're allowed 5 runs plus possibly an 11th player. Not real sure. That's something I'd have to look more into. I didn't get into that aspect of it. So that's the difference in the roster size. So you can only have a 20-man roster. That's a lot of players. We had 18 at the last tournament. That is a lot of guys. We all played. Not a lot of us didn't play a lot. You go into the team knowing you're a role player, that's your role. It's kind of where I'm at with Franks right now. I'm new to the team. I got a role. I'll play that role and go on from there. Now, Section 5, 5.5, Rule 1, runs per inning. Now, this varies. Double A through majors are limited to 5 runs per inning. I'll roll this window up. Are limited to 5 runs per inning. Guys, everybody thinks, oh, you can only score 5 runs. It's not fun, blah, blah, blah. Trust me, you don't score 5 runs every inning in Double A through majors. Heck, even in Major Plus, you don't. You're going to be stopped unless you're just that good of a team. Majors Plus, 40 plus through 70 plus, are limited to 7 runs per inning. So the higher group, of course, gets to play a little bit more innings, a little bit more runs per inning. But you still see 25, 20 ball games, some 14, 15 ball games, 22, 23 ball games. I mean, it makes it fun. And what it doesn't explain on here is, and I didn't go into the run rules because they're way out there. You have your last inning. It's called the buffet, or the open inning, where you can score as many runs as you can. Now, if you have home runs left, you use them. If you don't, you got to do it without home runs. But we call it the buffet. Once you hit that inning, it's usually 5th, 6th, or 7th inning, depending on how the game's going, and time limits. That last inning is unlimited. So it can be say when you play 5 innings, you get to the 6th inning, and it's going to be open, and every inning y'all scored your 5 runs quick. That's 25-25 going into the last inning. And some of those last innings lasted a while. I played a game where the team scored 20 runs against us. I've seen games where teams have scored 11 or 12 and the home team has come back and won it after the 11 and 12 runs. So, or fell short by a run or two. So that last inning, guys, gets fun. So just remember, you're limited to your runs. AA through majors, which in 40 majors, 40 masters is what it's called in SSUSA. There are no AA. It's AAA, majors, and major plus. That's the only divisions they have there. You start getting into the AA's in the higher age brackets. Almost sounds like youth baseball, high age brackets. All right, here's the fun one. Section 8, Rule 8.4, 2 through 4. The reason why I go through 2 through 4 is because I'm covering all age divisions, or all skill levels. The home run rule. All right, major plus, 50 through 70s. Now, it doesn't give me a home run rule for 80s and 90s, probably because they're not hitting too many home runs anyway. They can, but probably not seeing a whole lot of them. But 50s through 70s are 9 home runs and then an out after that. So once you reach your 9 home runs, you hit one over, it's an out. 40 masters, major plus, is 10 home runs a game and then an out. It's news to me. We've always played 6 and 7 home runs or 6 and 8. So this year, my team's a major plus. They got bumped after Worlds. I happen to join them now. We'll get 10 home runs a game. We'll see how that works out. The majors, ages 50 through 70, get 6 home runs a game, and then everything after that is an out. The 40 masters, majors, get 8 home runs a game. And then everything's out. That was huge in Worlds. My team could not hit 8 home runs if they were pretty much handed to us over the fence. Hell, we didn't even hit 6 home runs a game. We maybe hit 3 or 4 a game, and that was it. And guys, that's the difference between a AAA team and a majors team. Is hitting. I mean, obviously, the feeling's going to be a little bit different, but in the 40 age division, AAA to majors, there's a huge gap in how you hit. The team I was on was basically a AAA team. We were a first-year team. Even though the SSUSA rule says first-year teams with first-year players in SSUSA will be listed as a AAA team, that is not what they do for the 40s. The 40s automatically go into majors, and then after that first year, they reclassify you if it's according. Team I was on did get reclassified to AAA, and they will hold their own and actually be pretty good in AAA if they kept the team together. I don't know what they've done because I'm not a part of that anymore. All right, the AAAs, 50 through 70s, 3 home runs, then an out. The 40 masters is 6 home runs and an out. I didn't see anything for AA in home runs, so I don't know if they get any. I'm assuming with 3 in home runs and then an out, they don't. For the AAA, I'm just assuming they don't have anything above that for home runs. I mean, below that for home runs. 40 isn't over, doesn't have a AA division, so obviously there's nothing there. The home runs, man, you get some teams that spend it in the first 2 innings, hit their 6 or 8 home runs real quick, first 3 innings, and then you get a good team that saves them, and that team just decimates them in the open inning. You go in the open inning with 6 home runs, you're down by 4. That's the ball game, guys. Most of these majors and major plus teams have almost everybody on the roster that can hit it out. So you see what happens in that aspect of things. That's what killed us. We couldn't hit the home runs and stay up with these major teams once we got out of our comfort zone down here in Texas. And there is a huge difference between Texas teams and Vegas teams when you have that gap between AAAs and majors. Our major teams hold their own. I mean, I think 3 of them finished in the top 8 in Worlds last year. I think all of us got bumped, but Powerhouse was already a major plus. So I think we've got 3 or 4 major plus teams this year down here in Texas in 40s and over. So should be an interesting season when it comes to those. The tournaments won't be much because you'll still have the majors, major pluses, and AAAs all in one tournament unless we get enough AAAs. But we'll be spotting a lot of runs. Section 8, 8.51. This one's an important one to know because it can get you in a jam if you don't. The courtesy runners. Guys, any player on the roster and on the lineup card can run. The runner can only be used once an inning. That person. If you have 15 guys on the roster, you can pinch run for everybody that hits in that inning. But that person can only run one time an inning. So you can have 15 pinch runners, but nobody can repeat as a pinch runner in the same inning. Any runner caught running more than once will be called out. Here's the main thing you need to know about this. It is anybody on the roster, and you have to be on the lineup card as a sub. You're not a sub when you go to pinch run, but you have to be on that lineup card. Guys, on the lineup cards in SSUSA for world tournaments, you have to have first and last name, number, and position. That is clearly stated in the rule book. How well do they enforce that? I don't know. I know they were yelling we needed numbers this year a couple of times to us. So remember that. For you new coaches, lineup cards, SSUSA, you have to have a name, first and last, a number, and a position. And then anybody's going to pinch run has to be listed as a sub. Anybody's going to go in the game has to be listed as a sub so they can check in, and the umpire and the opposing team has that information. And trust me, in Worlds, everybody keeps a book on both sides. So it's pretty, dude, they get serious up there. That pretty much is everything that I wanted to cover today. I may go back and cover the player classifications. You got numbers 1 through 10, majors, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, and every age bracket drops down a grade. So like 40s, masters, major plus is rated a 10. 50s major plus will be rated a 9. Okay. That 50s major plus guy can go play 40s majors, but he can't play below that. A 60 major plus guy will be an 8. He can move over and play in the other divisions that are equal or better to what he's at. So a 60-year-old could go play 50s majors. 50s, yeah. Major plus player can play 50s majors, and he can play 40s AAAs and majors and major plus. So they're called chip players. You've got your snowbirds that are out-of-state players. You can play one classification down unless you get permission from SSUSA to drop 2 classifications. So say like I'm playing major plus this year and I stink at it and I don't do really well, and I want to drop back down to my original team in AAA, and I go to SSUSA and get permission and they say yes, you can drop down, then only then I can drop down. Other than that, I can only go to a majors team. So they're pretty strict on it. They keep up with it. They do have a website that does have a message board that questions are asked all the time, rules questions. Guys, if you have any questions, let me know. Hit me up in the message down below. I can look it up. The information's on my phone. I've got the rule book downloaded to my phone, so, or my computer at home as well. So I can look it up, get the ruling, and kind of give you my interpretation of it. Now, whether SSUSA says it's right or not, I don't know. But this video is already at 29 minutes. Didn't want to go this long. I probably should have broke it up. But that's the rundown for new coaches, new players into SSUSA. As soon as USSSA comes out with something, I will cover that as well. People, enjoy the game. Have fun. That's the most important part. And as always, play your ass off. See y'all on the field.